Well, what's up, everybody? How you doing? Dave Fennoy here. Another Wednesday, and here we are. Another Ask Dave Fennoy Anything, and just a little shopkeeping here. All of the Ask Dave Fennoy Anythings live on my YouTube channel, Dave Fennoy Voiceover Training. Ooh, it's right there, right under my name. If you are interested in coaching with me, davefennoy.com, click on the Study VO tab at the top. And you can follow me on Twitter, X, whatever it's being called now again, at Dave Fennoy VO. A couple of things. VO Atlanta is coming up in March, and we're about 6 weeks away now. I have 2 classes. They're sold out. I talked to Jay Michael. We might have another class. But VO Atlanta is one of the conventions that you want to be at if you are an aspiring or perspiring or someone in this business that wants to make contacts, wants to learn things. And that's voiceover, but that's voiceover is not till next November, December. So it's VO Atlanta coming up in March. Just a reminder. And with that, let's talk to my guest. Ladies and gentlemen, Natalie Hitzel. There she is. Yeah, there she gets. Got to get centered on camera there. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Happy to have you on. And, I have seen your posts on Facebook, and I knew you did voiceover, but you seem so quiet and demure. And I reached out to a bunch of voiceover people that I knew worked, and you were one of the first people that said, "Yeah, I'd love to be on the show." So welcome. I really appreciate your being here.
I appreciate you bringing me on. This is so nice.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And the first question I got to ask is voiceover. Why? What got you into it?
My brother pretty much is a gamer, and I grew up with a controller in my hand because he put one in my hand, and I fell in love with video games by the time I could walk. I knew I wanted to work in the video game industry or the animation industry because I love that too, to some extent. My mom was a teacher for 30 plus years, and I just respect the heck out of her. She's my role model. And my dad was a food critic, and he had his own radio show, so I kind of put the 3 of them together. I'm terrible at math. I don't want to program, but I would love to work on a game. I would love to educate kids because that's what my mom does, and I would love to work behind a mic because that's what my dad does. But I'm very shy, so I can't perform in front of people. And I just kind of
wait a minute. Well, let's go back. Let's go back. My mother was a school teacher too, all her life, and a reading specialist. But I want to go to your dad, food critic. So when you go to restaurants, are you hard on the waiters and the chefs?
I'm very chill when I go to restaurants because I'm always like shy because my dad was like a titan in the food industry. He was very kind and good-hearted, but he said it like he meant it. And he saved a lot of restaurants that were going out of business. He passed away, I think it's 9 years ago now.
Oh boy.
And I still like my whole family and I, we still feel him everywhere. And anytime we go to a restaurant in our area, people still ask about him. He handed out these stickers that are called Hitzel approved to restaurants that he really believed in. And sometimes they'll still ask if we have any left because they deteriorated or got rubbed off. But most of the restaurants that we know he loved, they still have them up on their front window. It's so nice.
Well, I can tell that you loved him, your family loved him, and people loved him because of how you're talking about him. So he's still with us because he's living in the hearts of the people who remember him.
Totally.
So instead of becoming a teacher or food critic, voiceover because of your brother and video games. Now, when I read your bio, you mentioned that you have hearing problems. How do you handle being a voice actor that has to hear? A lot of people who have hearing problems, their speech isn't quite right. Tell us about your hearing problems, how you overcame them, or even how they started, and how you handle it now.
So I was born with hearing loss. I didn't start talking till about 3 or 4 because of it, because I did have speech problems. I had difficulty picking up certain speech and language, and everyone else in my family pretty much just thought I was shy or just wasn't much of a talker. And my mom, right away, I guess, being a teacher, and she actually taught at a handicap preschool, and those kids were amazing. They're so smart and so incredible. But I think maybe she saw that before, and she knew right away there was something wrong, so she got my hearing tested, and it did turn out that I had hearing loss. I wore hearing aids through, uh, I don't know, remember if I did through preschool, but like grade school and middle school. And obviously I needed them and they helped. And she also put me in speech therapy, and that helped tremendously, obviously, because I'm able to do this. But I was so horrendously left out of things and bullied. It would be a thing where the girls around me would be talking, and I just wouldn't know what they were saying, so I would smile and respond to what I thought they were saying, and it just very quickly got old for them. So by the time I got to high school, I said, I'm not wearing hearing aids. I don't care if I miss out on things. I'll try to pick it up on my own. My brother was really smart, so he could help me. I just needed to make friends. I need friends. So that's what I did, and I made like the most amazing group of friends that I still talk to every single day. I graduated like 10 years ago now, and they're still in my life every day. But a few years after I graduated, I woke up on Thanksgiving morning and took a shower, and I heard this really loud ringing in my left ear, both ears, but especially my left ear. And then when it stopped, there was just nothing, completely nothing in this ear, and this ear was muffled. At first, I thought I got like water in my ears or an ear infection, and after a couple days of like freaking out because well, I felt like my ears were not unclogging, I went to an ear, nose, and throat doctor, which is like called an ENT, and he tested both my ears, and he said, "You're deaf in this ear, and you only have about 30 to 40% of hearing in this ear." And he said, "It's been too long. There's nothing we can do. Usually, if it happens right away, they can start you on like steroid treatment, but they said they'll give it a shot, but unfortunately, nothing." And it's just pretty much been like that since that happened. He said it's a thing that happens. There's usually no explanation unless you like hit your head or had suffered some kind of head or neck injury, or you're exposed to loud noise. It could be like a viral infection. They don't know. He had one patient who was like a small child who choked on a Skittle, and I guess the way he jolted his neck caused him to go deaf. So it's awful, and I pray it never happens to anyone else that I know or care about, or anyone at all, because it's terrible, but it is very rare. Just sucks it had to happen to me because I spent my whole childhood kind of dealing
Well,
with it
from the conversation I've been having with you, from the work that you do, it is not evident at all that there's a problem at all. Just in your day-to-day life, if you're out and about, do you have problems hearing people, or?
Yeah, when so in a situation like this, when I have my headphones on and I control the volume, like if my brother came in and put my headphones on, he'd be like, "Ah, jeez!" Like it's loud, but for me, it's normal. So I can hear you fine. If we were in a room talking, it would be fine. Maybe another person would be fine, but like more than 3 people talking, to me, it doesn't sound like a conversation. It just sounds like static on a TV, and I don't know why that is. It just everything sounds like noise. So when I'm at parties, I just kind of get quiet and smile and nod my head. Hope I'm nodding my head to the right thing, because it's just I can't, and I don't want to keep asking people to repeat themselves. So yeah, exactly. I just know I deal with it. But in voiceover, it's fine because it works out because I have volume control, and I'm usually in a session with like 1 or 2 other people. So
Well, there you go. Well, let's talk voiceover now. So your interest came because your brother playing video games and you playing video games. How did you get your career started? I saw on your bio that you were a theater major.
hmm
Are they connected?
yeah. So I think when I graduated high school around that time is when I decided I wanted to get into it, because my
Which was
dad
like
had
3 or 4 years ago, right?
No, that was actually 9 years ago now. But it took a while. My because that's also around the time I lost my hearing, so there was just a lot of delay in me getting started. But my dad had his radio show, and I would watch him by the mic, and I thought that was the coolest thing. His technician, she would invite me to the other room to actually learn how to run things, like run all the dials, and that was so crazy and cool. And I loved what my mom did, so I started looking into work like podcasting or audio production, and then I think voiceover just came up, and I thought about it immediately and realized how much I loved games and how much I love listening to the performances, and same with animation. So I started taking some acting classes. I took acting classes when I was a kid as like an extracurricular activity because I just thought it was fun. And but I started taking it more seriously, and then I went to a college in Cumberland County, which is near me. And the professor there, her name's Deborah Bradshaw. She recently retired, but we still talk every day too. She brought me so out of my shell and taught me how to like speak in public. She made me take a bunch of public speaking classes when she realized like what I was dealing with my shyness and everything. I got to do a bunch of shows with her, and I never would have been able to do them without her because I was so shy. And she's so kind. She's my best friend now. And I graduated there, and then started taking a couple voiceover classes, and eventually when I felt I was ready, I made my first demo with J. Michael Collins.
Well, so many people make the mistake of trying to do their own demo or pick somebody because, oh yeah, $500, yeah, that sounds great. And then it's, of course, a demo that isn't going to help you. A, you don't want to do them before you're ready, and B, you got to go ahead and spend the bucks. It doesn't have to be, $5,000-$6,000, but it's going to be between $2,000 and $3,000. But the right demo will serve you. So, what was that experience like with J. Michael doing your demo?
He's so cool. I mean, what more could you ask for getting a demo made with him? He's so funny, and I consider him a friend. We took a few classes beforehand, I think, just to get warmed up and look at scripts. And I remember the day we were going to go over the scripts that he chose. We went over them quickly. He said, "Yeah, you're ready. Let's record it now." So I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And I turned everything on and recorded it. And I love how it turned out. It turned out great. Very me, very like chill, conversational, and that's the kind of, I feel like that's kind of me. So
I listened to a few of your demos. You're very now. In your voice and your delivery, which, after you hit a certain age, you're going to be now, as you are now, 30 years from now, but the now will be different, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But you are one of those voices that the industry wants to hear when you're talking about connecting with people in your age, a little bit older, and younger. And I'm sure he heard that. And you have just a very conversational style.
Thank you.
It's good. It's good. So you got your demo. What was your first gig?
It was a small indie game because I think after that I made a gaming demo with him too. He had brought on Matt Curtis and Chris Sharps, who are very much into video game voice acting, and I ended up eventually making a gaming demo with him. And it was a small indie game called Light Matter. I emailed them. I saw like a trailer on social media, and I thought it was really cool. And I emailed them and said, "Hey, here's my demo. If you're ever looking for any more voiceovers, I would love to take part in this. This game's awesome." And they emailed me back like 4 or 5 months later and said, "We originally weren't gonna respond because we just don't have the need, but we're actually thinking of writing a female character. We'd love to hear you read a few lines in like a Skype call." And then from there I ended up booking my first video game. I was so excited, and I was like making my brother play it, and I was like, "Look, Nick, oh my gosh,
that's me, that's me."
I was excited. Yeah. And then from there I just kind of kept doing that. I kept sending the demos wherever I could, and in gaming and animation, and especially talking toys, it just really worked out. Like I heard back from a lot of people.
So let me ask you now, are you represented now?
Yes, I'm with DDO in New York, and then I also have ASP, and I think they're in the Carolinas.
Oh, yeah.
And Lisa Rystyle is in Maryland, and I'm with Shepherd in Texas.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
And I know all those people, and they're
Mhm.
all very good.
Yeah.
And part of the lesson here, because what I like to have is this be a lesson for people who are watching and listening, is that yes, you can get started on your own in terms of putting yourself out there to clients. That was your first gig, and it doesn't happen overnight. You said it took them 5 months to get back to you, but
Yeah.
keep planting those seeds. Uh, we would all like jobs to come to us like Amazon.
Yep.
Next day delivery. They're even getting stuff to you sometimes now on the same day. Uh, but it's not going to work that fast. It's not going to work that fast. So keep putting in the time. So, what's the biggest gig you've done?
Um, I'd have to say, for Pixar, I did the voice of some of their Happy Meal toys with McDonald's, and I know it's not like a big national commercial or a big AAA title or something, but it was just so crazy to me to like go to McDonald's and hear my voice and be able to put the word Pixar on my website. I was like, "Holy crap, that's amazing." I'm so excited.
Well, I hope you'll be as excited the next time and the next time and the next time. I tell people all the time,
Mhm.
I am as excited about every gig I get now as I was with the first gig.
Yeah.
Especially some of them. Some are just a little more special than others. But
Mhm.
so, how did you make that switch from hey, I'm new, and now suddenly you're working for Hasbro and Pixar and Lego, and you've got a long list of big clients.
So, my first like foray into the K-12 thing, I was with an agent in LA, and I booked with Hasbro. It was I got an audition for a talking Hasbro toy, and I just auditioned for it, and then we recorded it. And even when I recorded it, I still thought it was just gonna be like a toy demo. They didn't seem to think much was gonna come out of it, but it was a lot of fun. It was a little lamb, so I was doing like little goat lamb noises, and I love farm animals, and I spent a lot of time around farm animals because of what I wanted to do as a kid. So I was like channeling that, and then all of a sudden I went to like Walmart one day and I heard a kid playing with a toy in the toy section, and I was like, that sounds just like the goat noise I was making a few months ago. So I like walked over there after she left and picked up the toy, and I was like, that's me! I'm a Hasbro toy! I'm for real ones! And I started freaking out. And then from there I was like, that's it, I want to voice toys.
Wait a minute. You didn't know that you were the Hasbro toy?
I had no idea. The way they were talking, the way my agent was talking, and the way I was thinking was it was like a they were so like toy companies, what they do sometimes is they'll have you record and it'll go in a chip and it'll be in like one or two toys, and they'll put it in the middle of like a group of kids in a room and see if the kids play with it, how they react to it. And the way it was described is how that's how I thought it was going to be. And then all of a sudden I was like, whoa, this is actually on shelves. Oh my gosh.
So you got paid for the gig, right?
Yes.
You just didn't think they were going to use it, or
Yeah, I think it was my first like one of my first professional jobs. I didn't know what to think. I don't know why it just wasn't registering that I was gonna be on like a toy shelf soon, but it happened, and I was like, wow.
well, you know what? There's sometimes being a toy voice can be a mixed blessing. I've not been a toy voice, but I have some friends who have, and sometimes the toy voice thing becomes a daily job. I've got a buddy up in Northern California, and it was a Hasbro toy, as I recall, and it was 5 days a week, all day, for
Wow.
months. Now it's a wonderful thing, golden handcuffs. You're getting paid, uh, but wow, that has to be. I'm not on any toys, man. No kid is listening to my voice on the. Well, I was going to
You will
say
be.
in Toys R Us, but Toys R Us is gone.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds amazing. That just sounds absolutely amazing. So let's get some questions from some people, and let's see. Mac McGee, Dave. I think Natalie's voice is being picked up on your mic. Okay, since you aren't wearing headphones, he's getting a little echo. And I'm going to turn that down and that up. So I think I can hear you now. And say something.
Something.
Yep, I can still hear you.
Cool.
Thank you for that. Let's see. Mr. Terry Briscoe, who always has something to say. I love how you're overcoming your hearing difficulties. Are there any accommodations that you need when you do sessions, either in person or remote? I'm doing a panel about this subject at VO Atlanta in March.
So far, no. Knock on wood, I haven't needed any anything. What I usually always just make sure my headphones are in like mono and things like that, just because sometimes it's like if I'm in a session with two people, one person speaking, all of a sudden they're coming through this ear and the other one's coming through the ear that I can't hear out of, so they think I'm ignoring them. So a couple little hiccups like that, but knock on wood, I've been very lucky. All of my sessions have gone smoothly. Uh,
Cool. Well, this one's a question for me, but I'm going to let you answer it. Uh, Mason or Meso Andrew Paul VO. Hey, Dave, how can I break in as a non-union actor and how can I get more non-union work? How would you answer that?
I would say, I mean, I'm all for the union and I support them completely, but a lot of work nowadays is non-union. Get on LinkedIn, make sure your profile is really professional, make sure you have good demos and a good website, and just contact anyone you can think of. Like if you want to work for Hasbro, there's no reason why you can't find the people who do the audio production on LinkedIn and just see what their process is. Same with game companies, animation studios, production companies that do commercials. It's all about getting out there and finding the work.
All right, let's see. Joy West. I've been planting a whole farm's field worth of seeds, and trust me, I won't stop because I love it. I'm on Backstage Casting Call Club. Was where I get work. What platforms do you recommend? We kind of sort of answered that. Excuse me, but the reason what I rarely get to read the whole question, but the planting a whole farm's field, and I know you have chickens, and I think you live rurally, don't you?
We're like a mix of suburban and rural. Like we have neighbors and we love them. They're great. I give them chicken eggs. But yeah, we're pretty we're
Wait,
like
wait,
in
wait,
the
hold on. You're giving them eggs? Aren't they worth their weight in gold now?
Yeah, they pretty much are. But yeah, every once in a while, just because, so I have all hens. I don't have any roosters, which are the male chickens, and they're
Yeah.
the problem. They're so loud. I have all hens, but female chickens, when they lay eggs, they sing an egg song, and sometimes they can, yeah, it's a very like specific tune, and sometimes they can all join in, and it is loud, not super loud, not like a rooster call, but it's loud. So to like make up for that, I try to bring my neighbors eggs at least once a month, and they seem to love it. They've never complained. They said every once in a while maybe they hear them, but it's like cute to them. It's like naturey. The chickens
Yeah.
are
You're gonna have
awesome.
some people here that want to move closer to you for those free eggs. I saw a joke today, and it said, I dropped a carton of eggs. My insurance agent's going to get back to me with an estimate of how much I'm going to get.
Mm.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. Terry Briscoe again. With the potential for some of the dialogue in video games to be so vocally stressful, how do you approach those sessions, especially when a lot of the time you won't have the full script beforehand?
Um, I do ask, like, if it's not involving my agent, I do my best to ask them beforehand if there's gonna be anything that's really vocally stressful. I do vocal warm ups. I think everyone kind of has their own process for that. I drink a lot of tea. I have lemon and honey on hand. But other than that, I just kind of hope for the best and do my job. But I know that you should definitely like do your best to protect your voice and stuff, and find a vocal warm up that works for you.
Oh yeah, I promise you, video games are very stressful.
Mm,
Sometimes all you need is rest.
yeah.
Um, Oh, I'll get to your question here in a minute, Cyrus. Just on that, one of the things that's happening now is directors are pretty much on our side in terms of wanting to help us protect our voices. If I'm in a vocally stressful game that say it's a 4 hour session, rather than wait a whole hour, which is usual, a lot of times they'll go, oh, we went 20 minutes, take a break. We'll go another 20 minutes and 10 minutes, then take another break. It's amazing how fast your voice will come back if you don't overstress it. So you can, if you just don't go too long, and you can do okay. Cyrus Sampson, question for you both. Do you think singers are able to make smoother transition into voiceover? Do you think singers can make a smoother transition into voiceover?
I think so, especially for like things like vocally stressful sessions, because I feel like they have a specific kind of training with vocal control and making sure not to hurt their voice and knowing how to hit certain notes without hurting themselves. I think so. And I know him, and he's in theater and stuff, so I definitely know he could make the transition.
You know, I had uh, a voice actor on, Sebastian Crutois out of Canada, and he has a company that uses hard rock singers to do creature voices in video games because
Wow.
they've been pelting it out for a long, long time. So since they've been sounding like that in their musical career, they have learned how to do it without, well, further damaging their voices.
Mhm.
So some of these rock guys are getting a second career being creatures in video games. But do protect your voice. When it's gone, it's gone. And let me get back to that Q&A thing here. We got a lot of questions here. Um, Tony, I just want to say, Natalie, your story is extremely inspiring, and thank you for sharing so much with everyone.
Aw, thank you.
Are you feeling a little nervous now?
Yes.
Yeah, because
Good nervous.
just talking to you, I can tell you have some confidence. You know who you are. You know what you can do,
Mhm.
but you're a little shy.
Yeah.
And that's okay. It's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. Uh, Wait a minute. What's Tony Briscoe say? Terry Briscoe. Wait, what? Hens have an egg laying song?
Oh, yeah. They do. I'll try to get it on video one day, and I'll post it, or I'll send it to you, Dave.
Okay. I'd love to hear the egg laying song.
Yeah.
Let's see. Joy West again. Hi, Natalie. How are you able to get funding to make your demo? I'm thinking about getting a HELOC. Joy, you got to save your money, girl. You just got to save your money. You know, and this is off topic from voiceover, but just about everybody you know wants to do something that's going to cost them some money to learn how to do. And often we're so used to our cup of coffee at Starbucks and our burger or whatever at the restaurant down the street, or buying that thing on Amazon that you didn't really need it, but it looked kind of cool. Sometimes we just need the self-discipline to say no. This thing that I want down the road is a little more important, and you have to put away a few ducats here, a few ducats there, until you have the money. So I'll just say that. Mr. DF Raisin, hi Natalie. If you could go back in time, what crucial piece of advice would you give your younger self concerning both life in general and the VO? I don't. Are
Stop.
you old enough to go back in time and give yourself credit?
I guess I could go back to my teenage years and say, "Stop worrying so much." I had so much anxiety. I would come up with things in my head that could go wrong that no one else even would think of. And I could just go back in time and say, "Stop worrying so much. Just go with the flow."
Oh boy. I will take a few more questions in just a minute, but let's see. We had some pictures of you. Now this, we were talking beforehand, and you told me that you don't do cosplay now, but in high school it was a thing. So this is you in high school doing cosplay?
This actually in college, when after I turned 18, I got permission to like go to my first convention with just my friends, and I cosplayed as Samus, and my friends cosplayed. I forget what they cosplayed, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. I think that was MagFest, a music and gaming festival in Maryland.
Oh, okay. And oh, here's another one. Who are you
Yeah,
here?
that's Misty from Pokemon.
Okay. You know, I'm in a lot of games and not as many cartoons as games, but a lot of cartoons. And I rarely think about, as a matter of fact, I've never thought about showing up playing one of these characters. I don't do cosplay. Maybe I'm missing something.
A lot of work, but it's fun.
And there you are. Now, this is when you were a sexy actor.
So I was at in my theater program, and my professor suggested any way we could to try to get headshots and see what the process is like. There were like little local auditions for like indie films and for shows in the area, and a friend of mine in Philly referred me to her photographer, and we became friends, and he did those headshots for me. I was so nervous in this picture, even though I look like I want to go to
You look
war.
like you want to hurt. You look like you want to hurt
Yeah,
somebody.
like I look like a video game villain. I was so
Yes.
nervous in these pictures, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, there's a camera in front of me." But I like how they turned out, and
Yeah.
I felt proud of them.
And here you are in your booth.
I think I
So,
just posted a toy, and I was like, "I'm gonna take a selfie because I'm excited."
oh, there you go. Now, tell me about your booth. What's your booth? What's your microphone? What's your interface? What's your computer?
So this is the Sennheiser MK4 XLR mic. So I went to a studio in New York, and they suggested like all my equipment. So this is the Sennheiser mic. It's like the poor man's Neumann, from what I've been told. I have a boom arm. I have the
The
stand.
poor man's Neumann. Okay.
Yeah,
You know,
I have.
Sennheiser and Neumann are the same company now.
Yeah.
They merged.
I have the Steinberg UR22 as my interface, and then my brother helped me hook up a monitor. My brother is a computer engineer and a web designer, so he and his friend built me a computer, which is amazing. I'm so lucky because it's so hard to come by a really good computer. And I he actually put like soundproofing inside the computer so that when the fan's on, I don't hear it. And then he
What
ran
kind of computer?
I don't know. It's
Is
just
it
a
a
whole
PC or Mac?
it's a PC, sorry.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just a whole bunch of components put together. And he put holes in the wall. So I used to have like a little booth that I purchased. It was like a little flimsy thing that I put together, and it worked fine. It did its job. And I eventually, this is actually was my dad's office, and I converted this closet into the booth. I got like a sound absorption blankets from, I think, Vocal Booth to Go.
Oh
And
yeah.
then all my equipment was from Sweetwater, both really amazing companies.
Oh yeah.
And
And you always
yeah,
get
it
the
worked
can.
fine.
You always get candy in the box from Sweetwater.
Yeah. Yeah. But knock on wood, it's great. I've never had one complaint. I've been in so many live sessions now, and they've all gone smoothly, so I'm happy with it.
Oh, well, fantastic. Let's get back to a couple of questions. MFC, it helps so much with musicality, breath control, and how to care for our instrument. Uh, an answer to that question about being a singer, does it help? And I actually think it does uh, for the rhythm of words.
Mhm.
Even though I'm a person, when I'm teaching, look, stop singing a song and just say it.
Mhm.
And that's the dead giveaway that you aren't connected with the words. When you start singing a song and trying to say it in such a way that you think it's giving it meaning, but it's not really giving it meaning, it's just weird. Um, and she continued with, I do creature voices. I do creature voiced. I think she meant I do creature voices. And I'm not going to make fun of you because when I type, my fat fingers make mistakes all the time. She's the Viper Room trained me well. Opera helped me though. from singing hard rock in the Viper Room to opera. Wow, 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 wow. Let's see. Terry Briscoe again. Oh, you, Terry. Billy David Ocean just fixed on y'all. Rock style. LOL. That was my name when I was a DJ in San Francisco.
You were a DJ?
I was a DJ on 107.7 KSOL and also on the Boss of the Bay, KDIA.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
I'm telling you. DF Raisin, she's definitely right about roosters. They are absolutely, of course they are. They wake us up in the morning. And now you say you don't have roosters, but you know what time they generally sound the
Well,
alarm?
story about that. When you get chickens as baby chicks, those tiny little adorable freaking cotton balls, you can't sex them. You don't know what sex they are. So
Wait a
there's
minute,
a
that sounded weird. You
professional.
can't sex them.
No.
You can't determine what sex they are. Just in case somebody just caught that. And ooh, she's sexing baby chickens. Ooh.
Oh no.
Put her in jail with pity Diddy.
Oh God. What I meant was you can't tell their gender when they're babies. You don't know if they're male or female, so they hire professionals at the warehouse to tell the difference, but they're not even 100%
Wait a
correct.
minute,
They're
wait a
90%
minute, wait a
correct.
We have professional baby chicks sexers.
Yes.
Do you go to college to find out how to tell
I
this?
think it's like a certificate.
And do you have to find out the sex early for some reason? They can't just live together in their little pen or wherever they are until they
They
get
can,
bigger.
but it's well, it's a thing. I guess it's a thing where like yeah, I don't know why it's a big deal. For me, I just wanted to raise them as babies, and then I got attached to them, and I was told there's a 90% chance they're all female, and then I went out to the coop one day and I heard the rooster call that and I was like, oh no, and it was ended up being my favorite one. And we're not allowed to have roosters, so a friend of mine who lives near me who has a big farm and is legally allowed to have roosters, she's opening a petting zoo, and all the animals are like rescue animals or animals that she's taken in. So she agreed to take my rooster, and I cried because I had to give him up, but I was happy because I knew he was going to a gorgeous farm. Anyway, we came home, and the next morning I overslept, so my mom got up to let the birds out of the coop and collect the eggs, and then she started hearing a rooster call, and she was like, what the heck's going on? So what happens is some of the chicks are like different ages, so the oldest rooster was crowing, and because of that the younger rooster, we didn't know he was a rooster because he wouldn't crow because he was afraid to establish his dominance over the older rooster. And then when the older rooster left, he started doing it, so we gave her him, and then she gave us another hen in exchange.
How interesting. I ain't saying nothing until that rooster gone. Oh, he gone? Yeah, baby, I'm here. I'm here.
Exactly.
Now, you know what I find interesting, and I know people have other interests beyond their careers and voiceover, but it's refreshing and I think somewhat necessary that we as voice actors think about something other than just the job. Um, and one of the reasons I think so is because we are mirroring humanity. Everything is based on our character work. It's all based on humans or how far away from humanity we are. Uh, so we have to pay attention to other things other than just this is my career and this is what I'm doing. And it's just kind of cute that, you know, for you it's farm animals and chickens.
Yep, exactly. One day I want to get a goat, but I'm having trouble convincing my family it's a good idea.
Because it might not be. Although they're using goats in amazing ways now. Sometimes they're putting them in forests and areas with lots of grass because they'll eat it
Mhm.
up. And there
Yeah.
are actually are people who rent their goats uh, and make a decent living renting, you know, 5 or 6 goats or more to clear out pastures and whatnot. So,
Yeah, I'll have to remind my mom of that. The goat could help with her gardening if we got one.
and they're very cute.
They're
They're very cute.
adorable.
Joy West again. Dave, Natalie, what trends are you seeing in animation video game niches for 2025? What do you see?
Um, Especially for, I feel like games already are kind of here, but for animation, more real person. I feel like maybe less super high energy, wide-eyed, how many voices you can do, and more just being real. Even like the really tiny kids stuff, like the educational and nature animation. I feel like kids know when you're talking down to them, but that's just my opinion. I don't
You
know.
know what? I think you're right. A little more reality, a little less animation and animation. Um, Maybe with video games, we're getting more of everything. Games are getting wilder and more animated, and at the same time, we're seeing a lot more subtlety in some other games. Uh, because the public has such a hunger for new games, games from around the world are being translated into every other language. So we're seeing a lot of games that might have been, well, definitely in Japanese and
Mhm.
Japanese and Korean, but now we're getting them from Europe and South America. Much like Europe and South America took games from the United States and did them in Spanish. Let's see. Mr. Briscoe once again. It's ironic that the musicality helps when it comes to singing, but it can really hurt for people who come from a spoken word background. I understand what you're saying, but when you're singing, uh, well, one, you have the music itself. So you have to hit the right notes. And then you're bringing yourself to it. Now, if you're singing opera or whatnot, even then, where it's so specific, you're still bringing something of you, something special of you. Uh, it's not just, oh, that singer sings so much better. That singer somehow brings more emotion to the words, to the music that they're singing. I think the sing song in voiceover, once again, is a telltale sign that you're not connected to the words you're saying.
Mhm.
All right, Mr. Tony Pierce. Natalie, how long did you train before producing your first demo? Very good question.
Well, I consider the getting the theater degree and studying theater for those 2 years, I do consider that part of the training because I think it's important to know how to act and to, just have some kind of acting background. And then I think for a couple years after that, I took voiceover classes, like, here and there. I There's a studio in New York called Edge Studio. I took a few classes with them, and I'd say, for about a month, I would take, um, a class or 2 a week with J. Michael before he felt that I was ready to get my first demo made.
So you said for how long?
For about a month, I was taking, like, a class or 2 a week with J. Michael, I think, so I'd say 3 or 4 classes,
Well, yeah,
with J. Michael
and
before
I'm
me and
gonna
my
say
demo.
you must have come into this uh, with a lot of natural talent. Three or four, I'm serious, 3 or 4 lessons with J. Michael. J. Michael is great. Um, but he's not so wonderful that he could take somebody who didn't have any talent, any natural feel, and prepare them in a month. And the reason I'm mentioning that is because I think there are a lot of people out there. Oh yeah, oh, is that all it takes? No, there was
Yeah.
something about you and your readiness. Whether it was the fact that your dad uh, spoke on the radio when he's doing critiques and whatnot. Mom's a school teacher. Something about you, you had a talent for this. Maybe it was watching the video games and the anime and so forth. But very few people would be able to start on day one and a month later are ready for a demo. Of course, you did have some other acting training in college, and that helps. But I would hate for people to get oh, that's all it, no, 3, 4 lessons, I'm
Oh, yeah.
ready. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, let's do this.
And if you have a
Uh,
good demo producer, I feel like they're gonna tell you that. They're gonna not let you just they're not gonna take your money and be like, "Yeah, we'll make a demo."
yeah. Cyrus Sampson, what's cheaper, paying for your first demo or going to school to learn how to become a professional baby chick sexer? I hadn't read to the end of that.
I don't know how much they have to pay or how long they have to go to school. I know that they don't have a degree, they have, like, certificates, but I don't know what it entails.
Dad, you know what I want to do? I want to be a baby chick sexer. I know, but you gotta know. You gotta know the sex of those baby chicks. Victor Singleton. This month I voiced my first 2 animation jobs. Bravo.
Yay!
During the sessions, I found myself having imposter syndrome. How do you fight off those feelings in real time? Have you ever had imposter syndrome?
Oh, yeah. Well, I feel like the way I'm assuming it means, I feel like I've had that where I feel like maybe I'm not supposed to be here. I just got lucky, even with the sessions I had, but maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I don't deserve to be here. That's kind of how I've felt. But I just kind of told myself, you're here for a reason. The client has you here. Stop overthinking. Just do the job. You'll see. You'll be done in less than an hour, and you'll be like, "Wow, uh, that went great."
You know, having been doing this so long, I think sometimes you go through periods where you're questioning yourself. Um, Sometimes you have a gig that seems too easy for too much money. Gosh, did I really deserve that? Um, Sometimes you've had a lull, you've had some success, and then things fall off. Well, there's going to be a natural ebb and flow and up and down to a career. And sometimes when you're down, it's a period when you say, well, gosh, maybe I never was any good at this, so forth and so on. Um, if people are hiring you, you belong there. Uh, you clearly have something if you've been working, and hopefully you will continue to work. So careful of the imposter syndrome. I know it raises its silly head every now and then, but hey, fight it. Hey, Bob Loza. Bob Loza has been a fixture in LA in the voiceover community. Good to see you, Bob. And he says, okay, I have to repost. Hello, Dave. Darn it all. Not sure what you're reposting. Mike Cunningham. Yeah, it can take months. Ha ha. Yeah. I know people have been working on it for 6+ months and still aren't ready. That is a joke. 6 months. 6 months is not a long time. I've had some people compare voiceover training to a college degree. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to spend 4 years learning your craft, um, but the money you spend to learn your craft, to get ready, to have your demos, um, can feel like paying for college. Except I actually think it's probably cheaper to get your demos and your training than that $50 to $100,000 per semester that some of these schools are going for.
Yeah.
Terry Briscoe again. Everyone thinks are the one that can just come out of it and kill it, but the vast majority of us really need to learn the ropes, have to have an idea of what we're doing at the onset. Have no idea what we're doing at the onset. Um, I heard a guy once tell me, "Oh man, what it's just talking." Uh, and okay, we're talking, but we're taking somebody else's words and making them our own. And you have to make them your own. They have to come from your response, your thought, your feeling, uh, your action, your relationship with whoever it is you're talking to or the character that you're talking to. That's what is the hard part, is taking the words off the page and making them your own.
Mm.
Miss Janet Peters, I had 4 coaches and yours of improvisation as well as theater training and years. I had 4 coaches and years of improvisation as well as theater training. Can take a few good hands day years. Oh, you type like I do, but Janet, you probably have really long nails, and that's probably what messed up your typing. My excuse is fat fingers. But I get your point, and I agree with you. Oh, oh, you corrected yourself. Hard years. Sorry. LOL. Fantastic. Terry Briscoe again. Luck definitely plays a huge part, even when you're talented. You know, do you remember the definition of luck, Natalie?
Opportunity prepared for?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
When opportunity meets preparation. Uh,
Mm.
yeah, and then you're lucky. Let's see. It's Mike Cunningham. What's he going to say? Send those geeks my way. They're coming your way. Yeah. Brad Highland, who is going to be a guest in a few weeks. I don't
Hi,
remember.
Brad.
Hey, Brad, getting chickens this summer, Nat.
Yeah, I'm so excited for you, dude.
We have devolved into a chicken show. There's a chicken shit joke in there someplace, but far be it from me to Terry Briscoe. I want to have to come up so I can hear the hen egg laying song. Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! All right, you people
Please.
have taken us off the rails here. Let's get back to business. So, where do you see the business going now, and the business for you? What are your goals? What would you like to do that you're not doing? What would you like to do more of that you're already doing?
Um, so as far as where the business is going, I don't know what to expect with this strike. Obviously my fingers are crossed and I have hope, but I'm nervous. I would love to see a great outcome, but I don't know. You probably have more input than I do on
Well,
that.
um, the strike goes on, but some of the dominoes are falling. There have been a number of companies that have signed the interim agreement and have also signed the non-AI stealing our voices
Mm.
agreement. I think in the long run, many of these companies, although they would like to not have to pay us, and people at the top, like Elon Musk, who would
Yeah.
love to see AI do everything and not have to pay anybody. Um, there's a big difference between AI voices and human voices, and I don't think AI voices will ever be able to do what we do. They can get pretty good, but I just believe they're going to be relegated to simpler information jobs as opposed to jobs that are really about humanity, our thoughts, our feelings, our vulnerabilities, and so forth. Those are jobs for human beings, damn it.
Yeah.
So ultimately, unless the public just gets used to that flat read with uh, sentences ending weird and odd pauses that make no sense, uh, different from the odd pauses that make sense as a human being, our perfect
Mhm.
imperfection of human speech, where I said this, oh, that reminded me of that. Now I'm saying this, oh, I'm pausing and I'm. If they could ever do that, yeah, but I don't think there's a way to train an AI to do that.
Yeah.
So I think ultimately the strike will end. We probably won't get everything we want, uh, but I think we're going to do okay. Of course, I am an optimist. So let's see, boy, Terry Briscoe, you are a curious man. Natalie, what is the most surprising thing that you have booked because it wasn't even on your radar since your career began? That's a very good question. That's why I like you, Terry.
Oh my gosh, that's a tough one. Um, I guess the talking toy, because before that, like, I knew there were commercials, and that's something I do wanna move forward in. I wanna do more commercials. I knew there were obviously games and animation, and when I got the audition for the toy, I was like, "What is this? It's just animal noises, but it doesn't say game or animation, it says interactive product." I think that's what it said. And then when I found out what it was, I was just shocked, but all kinds of like, this is what I want to do more of, talking toys. Yeah, that was the most shocking and exciting thing for me to book.
Oh, wow. Okay. I like that. Lonnie Manella, uh, director and game voice, just experienced a major AI flaw today when Google Navigate mispronounced so many street names and didn't match the route on Google
Oh
Maps.
no.
Oh boy. Oh boy. You know, um, technology can be a wonderful thing until it's not, until it doesn't work. And although I like technology and I use it, and I think, like for driving, you kind of really do need to know where you're going. Um, if we count on it too much when it's not there, well, we're just up a creek. So, what's the best gig you've ever had? What's the
Best gig
gig?
I've ever had. My first big commercial, I booked a really nice national commercial through a production company in Spain. It was for Pearson, which is like a K-12 and college educational media company, and that paid for my first car. Not my first car, but it paid for like my first car that I got since starting VO. And I was like, wow, like the money that you make on a commercial compared to like on a game or a toy. I was like, what's
Yeah,
happening? And
and you know what? That's one of our biggest issues. Is uh, we should be getting, well, we are supposedly getting bonus payments based on the sales of a game,
Mm,
um, but it should be more. It
yeah.
really should be more. Commercials, the residuals on commercials, the residuals on cartoons are wonderful. And it's not like we as voice actors, some days you work, some days you don't.
Mm,
And it's a very specialized skill. And when they say, "Oh yeah, we're going to pay you $100, $150 for this commercial. How about that?" And then they want to run it forever. And a lot of times they just feel they're justified, uh, but they're not. They're not.
yeah.
And we, as voice actors, are part of the workforce from around the world. Well, let's put it down just to America right now. Um, and there is a war on workers and has been for centuries. There's an
Mhm.
ebb and flow. If you've watched HBO and the Gilded Age, that was a time very much like now. We had very, very, very rich people who controlled so much of industry, and workers fought and died for better wages.
Mhm.
And somehow, too many of us have been convinced that, oh, if you pay me less, somehow I'll make more. Oh, no, it's no good that I group together and we bargain for better wages. No, that's what we have to do. And if we as voice actors, no matter how well we're doing, don't consider ourselves part of the workforce, we're fooling ourselves. I'm going to end what I have to say on that. But Natalie, um, what's a message you'd like to leave with people here?
Don't think so much. Just if you're a good person, trust your instincts. Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't stress so much about things. I feel like when I started, and I still do, I overthought so much. It took forever for me to make decisions on things that I wanted to do to change my life. And I feel like the less I did that, the better my life got. And the easier things got. And I just think that's an important message. I don't
Okay.
know.
And I ought to quit on that, but Bernard Tanner has a big long one. It might go away before I finish reading this, and we'll bring it back. Dave and Natalie, question. I've been listening to a great deal of old time radio just to listen to the acting, and some of them are marvelous with radio actors who are simply fantastic. I especially love the adventures of Philip Marlowe with the amazing late great Gerald Moore. I know that, however great the voices may be, the acting is much more important. And listening to and studying those great actors, I believe, has made me a better. I knew I wasn't going to get through it. It only gives me 30 seconds. I believe has made me a better VO actor. Would you recommend this to other voice actors? Your thoughts?
Um, Absolutely. To me, that's in the same vein as just if you want to be a video game actor, play video games and pay attention to the dialogue. If you want to be an animation actor, watch cartoons. Cartoons are great. Cartoons are, people think that they're just like, some people think that they're like a below live action, but they're not. The cartoons are so special. They have so many good stories. Uh, Pay attention to commercials if you want to do radio drama. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah,
Listen to some of those old radio
I
dramas.
think if you're a musician and you want to learn to play like whoever, listen to whoever,
Mhm.
imitate whoever. So as an actor, pay attention to the actors who are working. Pay attention to great performances, and take it in, and uh, pay attention in a different way than just, oh, I love this actor. Let me enjoy this. What is that actor doing in that cartoon, in that video game, in that television show, in that movie? How is this actor handling dialogue and movement? Too often we're just thinking this is it. But as my old friend Mark S. Dale, a director out of London, told me, and damn it, I have to give him credit for it. This is the exhaust of the acting engine. Everything else comes first. It's not about your voice, it's about embodying that character. And with that, Miss Natalie Hitzel, ladies
Oh,
and gentlemen.
thank you so much, Dave. This was so nice.
Oh, thank you. This was wonderful. You know, seen you talking about voiceover. I had never seen you as much talking about chickens and uh, so forth. So it's good to learn that part of you. I think it's quite interesting that chickens, barnyard animals. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you for spending some time. I look forward to if you're in at VO Atlanta, let's make sure we say hello.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Oh, you are so welcome, so welcome, so welcome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Natalie Hitzel, and you never know what you're going to get, but we got great again today. A reminder: this and all the other Ask Dave Fennoy Anythings live on my YouTube channel, Dave Fennoy Voiceover Training. If you're interested in coaching with me, davefennoy.com, click on the Study VO tab at the top. Follow me at Dave Fennoy VO. And reminder, all the Ask Dave Fennoys are also streaming on Twitch now, as well as all the other channels. So, see you next time, and between now and then, book something.